Alright, it's finally here, the new Toyota Tacoma, and for the 4th generation, it's going all in on turbocharged 4-cylinder engines. Let's take a closer look. So yeah, Toyota flew me out to Kona, Hawaii for the debut of the all-new Tacoma, and they took us to a coffee plantation really high up in the mountains where they had 4 Tacoma trims set up, including the TRD Pro, the TRD Sport, the Trailhunter, and the Limited. And then we all had about 20 minutes to check out and film each of the 4 trims, so this is just going to be a quick overview because there's a lot to digest here, so this is just going to be a first look and a quick preview of the new Tacoma. Now, while the Toyota Tundra fights a really tough battle against the big 3 American pickups, the Tacoma outsells all of its domestic rivals. But the segment is definitely starting to heat up with pretty significant and impressive updates made to the likes of the Chevy Colorado, the GMC Canyon, the Ford Ranger, and the Nissan Frontier. And that means the new Taco had to see some pretty significant updates to keep its position. So let's get right into what you're working with under the hood. The naturally aspirated 6 is now gone, and Toyota has opted for a lineup of turbocharged 4-cylinder engines. All of them are iForced out, and all of them are 2.4 liters. Starting with the base Tacoma SR, that will be the only one that makes 228 horsepower and 243 pound-feet of torque. Moving up a level, you can get a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder turbo iForce with a 6-speed manual transmission, with the output jumping to 270 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. The third iForce setup will feature an 8-speed automatic transmission and will make a total of 278 horsepower and 317 pound-feet of torque. And then you'll have the iForce Max that will make 326 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque. As for towing capacity, a lot of the figures are still TBD, but the 278 horsepower setup looks to get the most towing capacity of 6,500 pounds, while the iForce Max aims to get the most payload capacity of 1,709 pounds. That said, the new Tacoma has been redesigned from the ground up and sits on the same TNGA-F platform that underpins the new Tundra. It uses a high-strength box steel ladder frame and adds on improved off-road capability, along with an optional coil rear suspension to improve ride and handling. You'll have a total of 8 trims to pick from, including the base SR and SR5, both of which are available in the extra cab or double cab. Then you have the 2-door TRD Pre-Runner, which is only available with an extra cab. And then up from there, you'll have the TRD Sport, the TRD Off-Road, Limited, TRD Pro, and the Trailhunter, all of which are only available with a double cab. Keep in mind though that the Tacoma SR, SR5 extra cab, TRD Pre-Runner will still have leaf springs. That said, there is a lot to cover with all the various options and offerings with the new Tacoma, so definitely do your research if you're considering one. Now moving over to the exterior of the new Tacoma, I think it looks spectacular. Originally, I expected it to look just like a smaller Tundra, and it does a little bit, but it also has its own look and appeal. I also love the fact how each trim of the Tacoma has its own appeal, whereas the Tundra, all the trims look pretty similar. Toyota says, and I quote, "The team of designers focused on the theme of a badass adventure machine when defining the essence of the new Tacoma." And yeah, I think this thing looks pretty badass. I think it looks better than the competition, including the Colorado, the Canyon, the Ranger. Heck, I think the TRD Pro looks better than the Ranger Raptor. Toyota says that they focused on increasing the durability and rigidity when redesigning the Tacoma. Also, the Tacoma now features suspensions tuned specifically for each grade. For instance, the TRD Sport has red TRD Sport tuned shocks for a more responsive feel. The TRD Off-Road grade is equipped with the monotube Bilstein remote reservoir shocks for extended wheel travel. And then the TRD Pro, which we'll get into more in a few minutes, has Fox's 3-way adjustable internal bypass shocks. But yeah, I'm really digging the looks of the new Tacoma. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Do you like it more than the competition, or do you think the competition looks better? Now hop inside the new Tacoma and you'll notice that the interior is pretty much similar to the new Tundra. It's definitely more modern than the outgoing model and it has a lot more tech. It also has more high quality materials and less hard plastic all around the cabin, so it just feels more premium. You have a ton of storage space in here as well. A shelf is integrated into the instrument panel for the passenger to put a phone or smaller items. Now, for the very few minutes that I got to sit in each of the grades of the new Tacoma, I felt the seats were pretty comfortable. Oh, and by the way, I'll tell you more about these crazy seats that you have on the TRD Pro a little bit later because they're actually really cool. Depending on the trim or the grade that you go for, you can get heated front seats, ventilated front seats, or a heated steering wheel. But yeah, as for my first impressions, the interior of the new Tacoma is a pretty nice place to be and is a much needed improvement, especially when the competition, like the Colorado, is really stepping up its game. As for tech, most of the Tacomas will have an 8-inch touchscreen display in the middle, but the Limited, the TRD Pro, and the Trailhunter will have a 14-inch screen. You also have a 12.3-inch digital instrument display on every trim except the SR, the SR5, and the TRD Pre-Runner. They get a regular 7-inch screen. The top 5 trim levels also get the removable JBL Flex Bluetooth speaker that you can detach and take with you to enjoy while you're camping or tailgating. As for the second row, we don't have official figures just yet, but it doesn't look like there's much of an improvement in terms of overall space. Now let's talk about the all-new trim for the Tacoma called the Trailhunter, which is probably one of the biggest highlights for the 2024 model year. Unlike the TRD Pro, which is for more extreme off-roading, the Trailhunter is about overlanding. You get a high output air compressor in the bed for airing your tires after you're done off-roading. It's only available in a double cab configuration with a 5 or 6 foot bed. You can add on a full ARB bed rack to support additional gear like rooftop tents, canopies, or a camp shower. You have an Oldman Emu 4x4 suspension by ARB that is tuned for better off-roading and for better load carrying capability. Of course, it comes standard with an electronically controlled rear diff and a front stabilizer bar disconnect. The outside of the Trailhunter looks really tough with a bronze Toyota Heritage grille with an integrated LED light bar. You also have these rigid LED fog lights that you can switch from white to amber. Amber looks really nice, and you also get the signature Trailhunter LED headlamps. It rides on these really nice 18-inch bronze wheels that are specific to the Trailhunter and are wrapped in 33-inch Goodyear tires. You also get steel skid plates that cover the front, the transmission, and the rear differential, along with this Trailhunter high mount air intake on the passenger side. This also gets frame-mounted rock rails and red ARB recovery hooks, and it also comes pre-wired with 3 auxiliary switches here on the dashboard. The inside of the Trailhunter gets some unique touches, and this version of the Tacoma is fully loaded with a 14-inch touchscreen display. It gets the digital instrument cluster. Comfort-wise, you get heated and cooled front seats and a heated steering wheel. But yeah, if I were to get the new Tacoma, the Trailhunter would definitely be the one that I would get. Now that doesn't mean that the TRD Pro gets less attention this year, because this thing is still pretty badass. Like the Trailhunter, you can only get the TRD Pro with the iForce Max powertrain, making 326 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque. But the coolest thing for the TRD Pro is that it now comes standard with these crazy IsoDynamic Performance Seats that will keep you comfortable while you're out there high-speed desert racing. Of course, they will take up additional rear legroom, so that's a little bit of a downside, but they look really cool, and I hope that they'll function just as well as Toyota describes them. Now, besides that, the TRD Pro gets 2.5 Fox internal bypass shocks that can be manually adjusted to 3 different settings. You get red TRD forged aluminum upper control arms along with an aluminum front skid plate. You also get the multi-terrain select system, an electronically controlled rear differential, a front stabilizer bar disconnect, all as standard. And just like the Tundra TRD Pro, the outside of the Tacoma TRD Pro looks just as tough with the Toyota Heritage grille and the integrated LED TRD light bar and the rigid LED fog lights. It's got a very aggressive front end, and I like it a lot. It rides on 18-inch TRD Pro wheels that are wrapped in 33-inch Goodyear tires, just like the Trailhunter. It also gets some other things like the ARB metal rear bumper with red ARB recovery hooks, a dual cap back tipped exhaust, and the inside of the TRD Pro looks awesome in this red color with the IsoDynamic seats that are heated and cooled as standard. You also get the Toyota stamp here on the passenger side, and just like the Trailhunter, it comes fully loaded with the 14-inch touchscreen display, the digital instrument cluster in front of the driver, and the detachable JBL Flex Bluetooth speaker. But yeah, that's the quick overview of the new Tacoma. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. I'm tired of talking. I'm really thirsty. I'm sitting in a Toyota Grand Highlander, which I'm also driving this week, and doing this voiceover. So I'm done. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and on TikTok. All right, I'm done talking. Peace.